Hey, what's up, everybody? So I wanted to share some of the instructional course that I've been producing with Javier Vazquez. Javier is a former UFC fighter. He's a 5th degree black belt in Jiu Jitsu. He has an incredible game, very, very sophisticated and elegant view on the game of Jiu Jitsu and how to control, how to dominate people, how to funnel people into areas where the finish can happen very, very reliably. And I've been implementing some of his strategies and techniques into my own game with a lot of success. And so I think it's next level stuff. And so I thought today we would show some of the side control material, how to control someone from the top when you have them in side control, and how to get those arms out of position so you can get the exposure to get an armbar finish. And so I hope you enjoy it. If you're interested in purchasing the course, you can go to theartofskill.com and check in the description below for a coupon code. And I hope you enjoy this material.
So let me give you guys a bit of a global perspective here from side mount and what my thinking is from this position. So the other back, please. So we're talking if the opponent is flat. This is side mount. Anytime that the opponent is flat on their back, I would prefer if his arms were stapled to the ground. If you imagine if I can hit him in the head, obviously I would want to be able to kind of staple his hands to the ground in order to prevent him from moving. When you staple people's arms to the ground, what you're actually doing is keeping their back flat, and it's going to make the opponent not feel comfortable on their back. So what they do is they'll clear one of the two arms, or maybe only one arm is trapped, so he's got one free arm, and he's either able to turn into you or he's going to turn away from you in what I call quarter side mount. Now, if the opponent starts to turn into you, we're going to cross his arms. So if the opponent's arm, if the opponent is flat on his back, I would rather his arms be split apart. The second that the guy turns and his hands are now together as a team, I want to cross his arms in order to make his life miserable and for him to turn all the way belly down in order for me to take his back. The basic premise from side mount here is to control the twisting transition, to control the transition when we are chest to chest into a position where we're chest to back, whether it's this way where I'm chest to back on this side here, or more commonly when they turn away and now I'm chest to back here, working to try and trap the arm or attack the neck directly. So let's first start off when the opponent is flat. When the opponent is flat, I want to staple his arms to the ground. Now, when I do this, I can either be facing him this way or I can be facing him this way. So if I'm facing him this way, I call this the northern attack. If I'm facing him that way, it's the southern attack. Now, when do you use which? Now, generally, when I pass the person's guard, I'm usually facing the opponent this way here. I would like his arm to be on this side of my head rather than this side of my head. I know that if his arm is on this side, this is going to create a lot more problems for me than if his arm is on this side over here. So if his arm does come in front of my head here, I can just grab it and move the head to the other side. Now I can hold his arm in two different ways. I can hold it this way or I can hold it this way. They each have their pros and cons. If I hold it this way, the arm can't transfer the arm in front of my face, but it is more likely that they pull and the elbow comes out. So if I do hold the head this way here, I will also hold the shoulder. So if he tries to pull the arm out, it's not possible. If I can't get a hold of the shoulder, the other thing I'll do is if he pulls, I will lift my elbow up off the ground and I move with him. What I'm doing is I'm not allowing him to slip his elbow out of the control, okay? Now, if I'm holding this way, it is a tighter, kind of more secure grip. You're kind of hugging the arm a little bit better. But the problem with this is that the arm can easily transition in front of the face. So even though I'm able to hug it pretty tight, I can't stop his arm from coming in front of my face. And again, it is more problematic if the arm comes in front of my face than not. So how do you solve this problem? When I feel his arm move, now why would I feel his arm move? Because I am pinching and I am hugging. So I can feel when this arm is moving very easily. My hand transfers behind his head, behind my head. When he pulls the arm out from behind my head, hug my head again, I come back. He tries to bring the hand in front of the head, I hug. He releases, I come back. And again, I have my arm here on the shoulder to maintain control. Once I've controlled the arm, or I put my head on the ground to make sure that the arm's stuck on this side, I'm going to look for this hand here. And I'm going to look to pin his wrist. I am always looking for his wrist. Anytime I see his wrist, it's gone. What I'm doing is I call this levering. So it's easy for me to lever that to the ground. And for him, it is very hard to resist from this angle. So I can apply very little tension here, and it is very hard for him to get out. And if I do this long enough, it fatigues him. Now, if he's at 90 degrees, he's pretty strong. If he's at an inside 45, he's pretty strong. But if I keep him fighting at an unsustainable 45, which is out there, it makes it easy for me to get his hand to the ground, and it makes it easy for my knee to come up and over, and it makes it easy for my second foot to control the arm. Now, once the arm is stapled, the opponent will either try to A, get his arm out, or B, try to get this arm out. And if he does, he'll usually try to transfer the arm in front of the face, and we'll go from there. So my first line of business is to lazy boy the arm and then to pin his wrist. Now, when I'm pinning his wrist, I'm allowing this to happen over time. I'm not trying to just force his wrist down because some people are strong. I just hold him from being able to get away from that 45. Notice how I'm holding him here at this 45. When I do this, look, go, 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 go. It's so easy for me to hold him. My elbow's locked. I have perfect balance here, and life is good. And then eventually he kind of relaxes, and when he relaxes, my knee comes up and over, and then bring your second knee in. Now, let's talk a little bit about holding the arm here. So I need my legs to be parallel to his arm. So if I'm controlling his arm, I need my leg to be parallel this way, or I need my other leg to be parallel this way. The further away from the shoulder, or the further away from perpendicular we are, turn your thumb down, the easier it is for that arm to come out. So I want to make sure I'm high up on the arm. The other thing I'm going to do is one leg is not as good as controlling as two. So if I can use both of my feet like a little claw on his arm, this greatly improves the control, optimizes the control with our arms here. Now, of course, you might need to build to this. You're not going to be able to land here. You're usually going to pin with one and then bring the second one in. Or you're going to just windshield wiper, right? Now, if you're controlling with one arm, let's understand the balance here a little bit. If my northern leg is trapping, roll me this way, people will roll you that way over there. It's kind of not the hardest thing in the world. So in order to stop that, we're going to windshield wiper our feet, and I'm going to bring my knee past his head. So if he tries to roll me now there's too much weight over his shoulder and he's not going to be able to do it. Now, in order for him to get his arm out, he's going to move his head this way, and that's what pulls the arm out. So that's why you'll see me often use my elbow to hold his neck in place. So if he tries to get out, he's locked into position. Now, the last bit of detail about this situation is this right here. Whichever side the toes are on is the weaker side. So he's going to point his fingers that way. Go that way. No. Point your, yes, go. He's weak. He's stronger going that way. And it is weaker for me to hold. Go. Yes. Go towards my knee. If he goes towards my knee, forget about it. So I know that he's never going to get his arm out from here so long as I'm here. If I feel his arm direction change, I change my legs. So now, again, he's going in the direction of my knee, and he's never going to get the arm out. If you're able to use both feet, it is more optimized and it's easier to control the arm when both feet are involved. Just be aware that if you bring one over, the guy on the bottom should be trying to escape by going towards the toes. And if he does, we windshield wiper the legs, right? Just like windshield wipers. What I've been doing most frequently is, again, I've been using both of my feet to optimize the control. But to get there, you don't get there all the time. So, you got to build to it. But in the middle, you're going to be controlling with one foot or the other, and being aware of what direction the person can get out is very valuable information. So again, we lazy boy the arm. We have different ways to hold on to the arm. We can hold the shoulder to prevent the pull. We are always taking a look at that wrist. We're looking to pin the wrist and bring the knee to the inside of the arm. Make it parallel. Use the arm on the neck. Switch, or add the second foot. And now from here, we can start working on finishing. So I want to discuss a couple things here and use these two things together. I want to discuss constant core tension, the arm trap, and I'm also going to discuss something I call Groundhog Day. So going back, please. So constant core tension. So basic mechanics. There are 4 turning points: the outside hip, the outside shoulder, the inside hip, and the inside shoulder. So if you look at the core of his body, these are the 4 points that optimize the control. Now, constant core tension is applied right in the middle. So if you look at this as 6 points: the hip, the rib, and the shoulder, the rib, and the hip. So my body is going to be crushing here over his body. What this does is that it prevents him from being able to clear out his lungs. He's having to hold up my weight, and over time, this makes things very difficult. When you apply this constant core tension, the opponent isn't going to want to stay flat anymore. They're going to want to turn one way or the other to kind of relieve the tension. So as the opponent turns, we can start blocking the shoulder, we can start blocking the hip. If he starts to turn away, we can start blocking the hip, and we can start blocking the shoulder. So I'm going to drop my weight, and I'm going to hover my weight on top of him. Now, of course, I'm trying to lazy boy this arm, and of course, I am trying to staple his arm here. Now, notice my weight is still on him. I'm very light on my left leg, and my knee is trapping over the arm. And again, I'm lazy boying the arm here. Now, in order for him to get his arm out, so motion to get your arm out, he's going to have to come out this way and go out that way. Go, 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 go. Good, come back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my hand right here. So watch how much he's going to move. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Groundhog Day. So I put him in that same position over and over and over. Now, every time he tries to get out and fails and over, what happens? He just accepts. He gives up. He says, I can't get out. He can't get out, not because I'm faster, but because I understand the tunnel that he has to go through in order to get his arm out. So as he goes to get his arm out, freeze, I'm looking to get to the inside of his wrist. If I can get to the top of his hand, this gives me the leverage I need to open up the arm to bring the knee over the arm. Okay? And I'm in no rush. When he goes to get the arm out, look at my hand is already in position. So from his perspective, he's on the bottom and he gets his arm trapped. He's like, man, I got to get my arm out. He's not thinking that when he gets his arm out, that he's going to get trapped again. And it takes him 2 or 3 times to realize that I've caught on to what he's doing, and he's actually being set up. And then they start to turn. And then what happens when this hand can't get out, then this hand starts to become very desperate to start to come across. And maybe he can and maybe he can't, but it's creating a sense of panic, and it is essentially generating the turn, okay? So again, we're facing the northern attack. We're gonna lazy boy the far side arm, and we're gonna pin the wrist and bring my knee over. Now, if I want to get there and just stabilize the position, I get to something I call the happy place. And what that is when I pin the wrist and my head is on the ground. So if he's trying to move around, it's very easy for me to hold this for 10, 15, 20 seconds. And it's very hard for him to feel comfortable. Just the fact that I'm holding his hand in this way makes him feel uncomfortable. The fact that my head's on the ground and my weight is on him makes him feel like I don't even want to try to get out because I'm going to probably fail. So I'm controlling his thinking by putting him through this process. This is a set of behaviors which are generating reactions, okay? Lazy boy the arm, pin the wrist. If he tries to get the arm out, my hand is already in place. Over and over and over again. Okay? All right, so the most basic submission that I have from side mount is obviously the Americana, but the Americana can be a little bit tricky to get a hold of because the second you start to pin the wrist, they straighten the arm and they make things very difficult. So what I like to do is I like to catch it in a way where the submission is automatically on the second I grab a hold of it. So here's how I do it. Lazy boy the arm, staple the near side arm with your legs. And I adjust my chest a little bit north here. Now, if his hand is like this, and I pin the wrist, the arm straightens, so it's very difficult for me to do this. Or if he's hugging my neck, I can't reach it from this position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his hand to my hand. The way I do this is I make him look away, and I'm making his head rotate away from me by placing my forearm right below his cheekbone here. And as I do this, I'm not just pushing this down, but I'm also leaning my weight. And what I'm doing is I'm making this arm's transfer longer. That way, if I do this and he transfers, I may or may not be able to get to his hand. But if I start to apply the pressure and I feel this hand start to move, look, I lean forward, which makes it easy for me to grab. No thumb, elbow hits the ground. And immediately, because of the positioning, it's already tight. I'm throttling both hands and I lift and finish. It's so tight. By the time I grab it, it's already very tight. Lean the weight, and then here it comes. Boom, boom. So by the time my elbow goes from here to here, it's already, the pressure's already on, and then finish. Very easy, consistent Americana finish. So his arms are tight, I see his wrist, it's gone. Take your time. If he tries to roll, you can base yourself out. I'm using both of my feet for control here for the sake of optimizing the control. Lean the weight and I catch it. Look how my head guides it into my hand. Slide and finish. The pressure is coming inward. So you're making a Z. You're not making like an L shape. This is a Z shape. I'm pushing this down as I'm lifting this up. Okay? So I'm doing this here. Bring it in. Rotate the wrist. Rotate the wrist. And then finish.
Javier Vazquez is a true legend in Jiu Jitsu and mixed martial arts. As a 5th degree black belt in Gracie Jiu Jitsu, a former top BJJ competitor with major tournament victories, and a professional MMA fighter with wins in the UFC, WEC, Elite XC, and King of the Cage, Javier has proven himself at the highest levels. Known as a true innovator, Professor Vazquez brings forward-thinking and highly effective solutions to Jiu Jitsu, making him one of the most sought-after instructors in the art today. His unique approach to Jiu Jitsu evolved from his intense experiences in MMA, where he had to develop a style that neutralized opponents' ability to strike him while maximizing his ability to dominate, control, and submit them. Since retiring from MMA, he has continued refining his system, which places heavy emphasis on controlling an opponent's hands and arms, as these are the most essential tools used in Jiu Jitsu. His new groundbreaking course, called The Principles of Dominance and Control, is a 6-hour, 50-lesson introduction to his deadly effective style and to his sophisticated philosophy honed at the highest levels of combat. This practical, no-nonsense system de-emphasizes moves that have little application outside of sport in favor of a fundamentally sound approach to jiu-jitsu that maximizes leverage, control, and dominance in order to increase the probability of getting the finish. His system is equally applicable to any expression of jiu-jitsu, from sport to self-defense to MMA, as it focuses relentlessly on controlling and funneling opponents into positions where they are weakest and you are strongest, and where submissions can happen most reliably. The Art of Skill is honored to bring you the principles of dominance and control, and we are confident it will be transformative to your own game. This course is available exclusively at theartofskill.com.